Today's video we're going to be building martial arts Caestus. Now fists, both in Nioh 1 and Nioh 2, were very powerful. As a matter of fact, were one of my favorite weapons. Right in here we're building kind of like a very aggressive, high damaging build that as you can see right in here, while you're fighting duels, you're virtually just always going to be on so much on the face of the enemy that you're not going to allow them to do basically anything at all, and this is just so much damage that you're going to be dishing out to them. They're so flipping powerful. This is also a tank that it's kind of like a high risk, high reward, because this is not like a constitution type of build. It's still going to have enough defense, enough survivability for you to be able to fight, but more often than not, or more than anything, we're going to be using hyper armor. And yes, you can actually fight anything that you want. I fought every single boss with this build, and it just demolishes them. You just have to be very careful because you can die if you're not careful about it, because the animations, canceling animations right in here, it's going to take you quite a while, and you're more often than not going to be using the hyper armor that I was telling you about to deal lots of damage, and this basically relies on the usage of infinite combo. So yeah, it is a very powerful build, but you do have to be very careful sometimes that you don't shoot yourself on the foot, right? While exploration, it's also going to be amazing, because actually while exploration, this is where it's really going to shine. Because of the hyper armor that we have right in here, you're going to be able to breeze through every single thing that you have out there. While fighting regular enemies, you're always going to stagger them. While fighting yokai, you're always going to stagger them. You're never going to allow them to do basically anything at all. So it's very difficult for you to get staggered and for the enemy to do anything to you. You're just going to be blazing through the content like you have no idea. So remember that if you like the content, a like and a video super appreciated. Subscription to the channel helps me a great deal. That being said, let's talk about the first thing that we're going to be needing right in here, and that's going to be the armor. We have the Brave Demon Hunter armor. First, let's actually talk about how to get this, because it's fairly early that you're going to get this armor. You're going to go into the Heian period of time, and then you're going to come all the way down in here. Now, on this tree, there's going to be a, let me find the tree. This tree, there's going to be like an NPC. If it's not here, it's going to be like somewhere around here, and the quest is going to be made available, and it's going to show up on your map right in here. If you don't have it, just keep progressing through the story. That quest is going to give you as a reward the crafting recipe for the armor. Now let's talk about the armor bonuses and what is it that this armor is going to give us, and why is this going to be so flippin' amazing. First and foremost, it's going to give us a little bit more life. That's very much in an interest to have, because we're going to be trading damage like you have an idea. And then you have the martial arts damage, 14.6%. We're mainly going to be using martial arts right in here, and that's going to be like how the build is going to be centered. The entirety of the set of this armor set is going to be based on using and connecting the actual martial arts. And then we have, for the 4 pieces, we have enhanced attack and defense C+ for the Caestuses. Now, this is a set that can actually be used as well. A part of this armor set, it's actually a sword, a katana. But more often than not, like, you can use this build with the katana and mixing the martial arts for the katana, but ideally this is going to shine the most with the Caestuses. And then we have 15% key recovery speed and martial arts key consumption. That's going to be amazing. But also attack a flipping A on attack bonus on strength. So we're getting damage from our martial arts right in here, and from our strength right in here, from here as well, and then martial arts key consumption. I think that this is going to be key, because the actual martial arts that we're going to be using right in here with the Caestuses, they consume a huge amount of martial arts. Now, while forging your armor, you want to increase as much defense or as much damage taken. So as you can see right in here, I have as high damage taken as possible, or as much defense as you can possibly get. because like I mentioned, you're going to be trading hits with the enemy like there is no tomorrow. For the in the globes, you're going to be able to place martial arts ki consumption. That's going to be key. You need this guy right in here, and then a little bit more of a mid-stance martial arts damage. The combo that I'm going to show you in this build, it's going to be a very simple and easy to perform combo that's going to be based on mid stance. But if you want to build your own combo for low stance or high stance, be my guest. For this specific purpose, we're going to be using mid stance combo, which is why I have mid stance martial arts damage right in here. And more often than not, 100% of the time we're using martial arts. We're not using basic attacks with this build at all, like quite literally at all. And then on the Caestus, you're going to have martial arts ki damage in general, and then we're also going to have the martial arts ki consumption and mid stance martial arts damage. It's going to translate into so much flipping damage. So yeah, lots and lots of damage everywhere. I don't have any good particular accessories right in here, but if you manage to get as well martial arts ki consumption, martial arts damage, that's always going to be key for this build to work. Now we're going to talk about a little bit about the skills that we're going to be using right in here. There's a couple of one that I think that are like a mandatory with this build. Ideally, you want to stack as much attack and defense as you can. So getting attack mastery 1 and 2 and 3, if you manage to get them, then that's ideal. I'm not going to be able to show every single one of these locations things because there's way too many of them, dude. So just be sure to use whichever that you think that it suits your playstyle better right in here. The one that I think that it's amazing for this build, it's the versatility. So essentially what this does is that it gives you stacks to increase its damage every time that you switch a martial art and you're connecting that martial art. As you can see with the gameplay that I'm showing to you right now, if my character is glowing red, that's because the versatility is activating and I'm dealing that much more damage. Now, it is not necessarily mandatory, but it deals a huge deal of damage right in here. The one that it is going to be completely mandatory, it's going to be the oppressive strength. So what this is going to do is that it's going to allow you to have hyper armor while you have the martial arts proficiency active. And the martial arts proficiency is when your character glows white because you have built enough martial arts proficiency meter. And while you're in here, you deal more damage, you have a little bit more defense, and then if you have the oppressive strength, this is going to allow you to have hyper armor so that you're never staggered, and this is when you're trading with the enemy back and forth with the infinite combo that we have right in here. This, you can actually find it on the very first map, and you're going to want to go to Nioh, and the chest that's going to contain it is going to be this one right in here. So this is how you get that. Now let's talk about stats. And for the stats, our main damaging stat is going to be strength. This is going to increase the damage not only of our katana, but also the damage of our Caestus. This is also going to deal much more key damage to the enemies, allowing us to keep the pressure that much more. There's a couple of things that you are going to need right in here. 8 points into constitution. This is just for armor requirements. 11 points into stamina right in here, just so that we can keep our encumbrance ratio between 69.4. However, if you're going to be refining your armor, you're probably going to need a little bit more in here, depending on how is it that you're refining your armor and the requirements that you're going to have. And then intellect on 9 to be able to use accessories. Now, if you want to furthermore enhance this build, you would go strength all the way to 99, and then you would raise your constitution all the way to 99 as well, but you would have to change the actual scaling of your gloves to constitution as well for your katana. My advice is that you choose this as your secondary scaling stat, damaging scaling stat, because this is going to give you a little bit more survivability, and you are going to need this if you're going to enter into New Game Plus with this build. Now, as for the Guardian, it is going to be very important which one would you prefer to use, either the martial arts damage or the martial arts ki consumption. I'd say that Eugene is much better because this gives you minus 4.2% damage taken, but it also gives you 8.4 martial arts ki consumption. And like I mentioned, this combo that we have right in here is going to be consuming martial arts like stamina like a maniac. You're not going to be able to, like, you're basically going to be able to like tie 3 of them. And remember that while we have the martial arts proficiency active, you cannot make a ki pulse because that's going to interrupt the combo. So you just have to use your stamina to go through with the insanity of the combo, and that's it. You can by all means be using Kusanagi because this is going to give you more martial arts damage, but then again, it's going to reduce how long can you continue with the combo. At the end of the day, it's going to be entirely up to you and up to your preference. Which one do you think that it's better for you? My personal opinion, I think that martial arts ki consumption with damage taken, it's much better than the Kusanagi, but it's up to you as well. Now, the actual martial arts that you're going to need are going to be very simple. We're going to keep the combo very simple right in here, and it's going to be dealing lots of damage. Kick cycle. Essentially, you hold Y, and that's it. This is going to launch a flurry of kicks upon the enemy. This has amazing tracking. It actually moves your character forward. You're going to connect that with stomp. Essentially, this is just a connection, but also the connection is allowing us to deal more damage. This increases the power of our next martial art. I haven't found my kick cycle water right in here, but if you have it, then that's ideal. That's the one that I should be using. But yeah, you're essentially going to be combining these two guys together. And this, as you can see right in here, this is going to be the gist of everything. It's an infinite combo. Here are the inputs that you are going to be needing for the combo. It's very simple, and like I mentioned, if you want to build a different combo yourself, be my guest. You can. It's possible that you're probably going to have like much more complex and more powerful combos than this, but this is as easy as it gets. Like, no brain, deals tremendous amounts of damage, and you can be using the kick cycle for exploration. It works charm. When you're fighting against duels, it's always going to give the enemy, if they're blocking, you're not going to stop. No matter what is it that you're doing, they're not going to be able to stop you. You're going to be building your proficiency, martial arts proficiency meter, and whenever you build that thing, they're essentially dead, because you're going to be continuing this combo over and over and over and over and over again until they are dead. While you're fighting yokais and while you're fighting bosses, you have enough defense and you have enough tankiness for you to be able to tank through everything that they throw at you. But my advice, this is very important, is that you actually use your Guardian skill spirit to get out of the animation, like, because your Guardian skill spirit can cancel this animation, and it can as soon as you see like you're losing too much health, because that's something that it will happen, it's something that it is going to happen. So whenever you feel that you need to heal, use your Guardian spirit, get away from the enemy and heal, and then back and forth, rinse and repeat it. The overall ideal gist of everything right in here is trying to build the martial arts proficiency meter, because without the martial arts proficiency meter, you don't have that desperately needed hyper armor that we need for the build to work as it is. And that's ideally the gist of everything. While exploration, this is also going to be your overall goal. You're going to be able to take down on several enemies at the same time just by using the hold button. That's going to count as a martial art. That's going to increase your damage that much more, because it's a martial art, and whenever you're fighting several enemies at the same time, if you have your martial arts proficiency active, your hyper armor is going to tank through everything that you have right in here. It's as no brain as it gets. It deals a tremendous and insane amount of damage, and it's so fun to use because this gets points for extra flashiness, dude. Like, the kick cycle looks just so flashy. And also, the Caestus have a lot of flashy, real like wrestling kind of moves, monk-like wrestling kind of moves. So if you want to use them, then you already have a base build for it, that it's built precisely on the usage of martial arts. If you like the content, I like and never super appreciated. Not all you today, you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You're indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Subscribe to the channel. You're in Discord. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.